How do we start this?
Last time on Eric.
Well,
That was probably really loud. I'm just a loud person. Okay. Last time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. Is the last one the one where we actually talked to Eric?
the saga in review.
Yeah, we did the saga in review. We talked to Eric about everything. We blew his goddamn mind. And now we're moving on to the second arc. Saga.
It's just called the saga.
What?
Technically, these episodes, the next 3, are still in season 1, but
Yeah.
it really feels like the end.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like the beginning of season 2.
The first couple are kind of epilogue.
Yeah. So we're just gonna get right into it because I don't know how to feel about all these episodes. The first episode, we're gonna go through 36 through 40 today.
Oh. You know what you didn't say?
What?
Welcome to Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Spencer. I'm not,
I'm
though.
John.
Shit!
Got him. We're going to talk about episodes 36 through 40 of Dragon Ball Z today. Starting, of course, with episode 36. The American title is Picking Up the Pieces. The Japanese title is We're Off into Space. The Star of Hope is Piccolo's homeland.
Fuck's sake.
It's always ridiculous.
It really is. And it's 2 sentences almost every single time.
Yeah.
Introductory sentence with exclamation point.
And then secondary sentence with no exclamation mark at all.
But explains everything. My title for this one is the episode where you realize this show has true emotional weight.
Dude, I loved this episode. Like,
I did too, actually.
It was so unexpected. Absolutely. I did not think that the show would go this way. Because, like, other seasons in the future just do, like, a time jump. Or
Yeah,
anything.
that's what I was expecting.
This episode starts 2 seconds after Vegeta flies away. And Bulma, Master Roshi, Korin, everybody who left in the last
gang.
episode is, like, coming to get them now.
Yeah,
And
they see him in the sky. It's a nice moment. Krillin is carrying a naked battered Gohan over to his father. Goku just wants to make sure that his son's all right. The gang lands in a flying ship.
like, Chi-Chi's immediately out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Running for Gohan.
My son!
Yeah.
Open the damn door! She busts out and she has to leap over the battered corpse of her husband to get to her son.
Yep.
Just completely ignores that Goku is on the ground, battered and annihilated, and she cradles Gohan. Oh, that was a turkey sound. That's what she does,
That's what she does, though. And I
Mm-hmm.
just don't know. We're going to get into it more. I don't know how to feel about Chi-Chi and Goku's relationship.
No, it gets weird.
It gets really weird. So they do that. Everybody's loading into the flying van. And Yajirobe is still in the exact same pose as when we last left him.
Yeah.
Like upside down with his cricked neck. And he turns over. He's like, no, don't bother getting up. It's fine. Don't give me a hand or anything. I'll take care of myself. And I'm just like, yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of that this episode, actually,
Yeah.
where people are just
It's
shitting
amazing.
on Yajirobe. Yeah.
Like, every complaint that I've had is addressed in this episode. It's wild.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice.
So everybody loads up into the Sky Van.
Yeah.
And basically the majority of the episode takes place in the Sky Van with everybody packed inside it. Goku's on a stretcher in the back. He's he's conscious, but he doesn't move. Like, his body is done.
Yeah.
It's finished.
He's in game over mode. And just before Krillin is the last person to get on, he looks up to see the Blutz wave ball.
Oh, yeah, and it just vanishes.
dissipates.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a nice
really
moment.
cool.
That's
Yep.
like, okay, we're moving on. It's over.
Symbolic.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
That's really what this episode is. They're flying in that Sky Van to go pick up the bodies of their friends.
I didn't expect the show to address this at all, but yeah, they're going to the original arena sort of place where they fought Nappa, and where Yamcha died and Tien died and Chaozu died and Piccolo died, and they land to get the corpses. It's like, it's such a somber episode.
Really is, and the music makes it feel so much deeper than you expect it to, and the scenes are long and drawn
It's just
out.
like slow and plodding. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it feels bad, and you have moments where Bulma flashes back to all the things that she did with Yamcha in Dragon Ball, and you really feel just this grief.
And Master Roshi's like, I wish there was more I could have done. I should have been here. Yeah.
Bulma says, no, I'm okay. I'm good to fly us, because she's been the one flying the van. She says, okay, I'm good to fly us. Don't worry. And Master Roshi says, okay. And he's not perverted at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real moment. And Bulma gets to fly, and she starts having the flashbacks, and it's bad. And Chi-Chi's holding her son. And when they gather the bodies of the other Z warriors, they never show their faces.
Oh, I didn't notice
Never
that.
once do they actually show.
And they put him in like these coffin sort of things.
It looks like the space coffin from
Star
Spock's.
Trek?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It looks like the Star Trek space coffin.
And they load everybody up. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Toriyama's a Star Trek fan. There's no way he's not at this point.
It's true.
The NC
yeah,
and
and this, absolutely. And so they start talking. Like they gather all the bodies, and then they're flying off back to the city to get everybody to the hospital. And they just start talking about like what they're going to do next. And Bulma's sort of like overcome with grief, and Krillin's like, something the Saiyan said has been really bothering me. And he starts talking about how they mentioned the Dragon Balls and how they thought they were just rumors, but if they exist here on Earth, then they might exist on Namek, where Vegeta said that he had heard, that they came from. So if they can just get to Namek, they can get Dragon Balls and they can wish everybody back.
Yeah, as he's explaining this, the background kind of fades out into like space, into stars, and he's the only one there. Except that, and everybody's talking to him, but you can't see them. And then Goku says, really? And the camera pans over, and Goku's just in space on a stretcher. He's just in space for no reason. That was awesome.
Yeah.
No one else is there, but Goku on the stretcher. And all he said was, really? Like, that was it.
Yep. Yajirobe's sitting in the backseat, like, gratuitously picking his nose.
Oh my gosh, he's so gross
like
this time.
3 times.
Yeah.
Like, and he takes it out and he starts rolling it in his hand. It's so gross. I don't understand his character or what they were trying to accomplish.
He is a neckbeard. I guess that's literally all he is.
Yeah.
He's that guy. Well, you were dating women. I studied the blade. That's him.
Oh my god.
That's him.
That 100% is Yajirobe.
Yes, that's who that guy is. Tell me if you remember this happening, because I don't remember this happening. When Krillin is explaining what the Saiyan said, Vegeta says, "It's clear to me now. All we need is a Namekian to make the Dragon Ball, and planet Namek is loaded with them." I don't remember him saying that.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he says that. I think Krillin is having one too many concussion problems and remembering things wrong, and it just happens to work out for them.
Right. They do say, I'm pretty sure they say something about Namek being... Okay, they call Piccolo a Namekian, and they make reference to rumors of Dragon Balls that they just dismissed as being false.
Right.
Those things do happen, so I can see the connections that they make. I don't think that exact quote is said.
A little bit of a retcon kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, okay, just making sure.
I don't remember that exact quote either. Bulma's very upset because even if the Namekian Dragon Balls exist, how are they going to get to Namek? They don't even know where the planet is. And Capsule Corp spaceships, which exist for some reason, spaceflight is very common, I guess, are so slow that it would take years to get,
4,366 years or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
really weird because she makes the calculations based on. So they're talking about all this, and Goku's like, "Oh, maybe I can ring up King Kai and see if he knows where the planet Namek is." And it works. God is just listening to them for all time, I guess.
Speaks to all of them.
And King Kai pulls out a literal address book.
Oh, yeah. It says address on it.
It's a book that says address on it. And he's searching for the planet's address.
I guess.
In the address book.
Yeah. When you're a god, what are you going to put in your address book?
Okay. But then it gets weirder because he says a series of coordinates, just, letters and numbers. And Bulma's like, wait a minute. It's there?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they're on the same system for some reason. And she starts doing her calculations, and that's when she finds out that it's, far enough away that it's useless to actually go.
Yeah, yes. The further we get along into this series, the less and less... They try to vest it in reality. They try and give you moments where, other people are just living their lives. But then also, they work on the same fucking coordinate system as gods.
Yeah.
Space apparently has oxygen ? No. We'll get to it. In this episode, we'll get to it. Well, not this. Well, this episode of the podcast.
Right, this episode of the podcast.
God damn.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
What? Yeah. It's breaking my brain a little bit.
Because they care about certain details and they don't care about other stuff.
Yeah.
It's not consistent at all.
At all. And it changes throughout the fucking series, too. So sometimes it matters and other times it doesn't. A gun does damage this time, doesn't do damage this time. What? Anyway.
Also, while they're doing that, King Kai's looking through his address book. In the background, there's like this weird interaction between Gregory the Cricket and Bubbles.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize was happening until I just saw Bubbles lying on the ground, like with a concussion. And I don't understand.
Did you not see that? Okay, so Bubbles is dancing around with flowers.
Okay.
I don't know why, but Bubbles is, I have flowers. Woo-hoo. And then King Kai hits him in the head with a mallet.
Okay.
Out of no, it's like one frame.
I must have been writing my note.
Yeah, King Kai goes poof, and hits him in the head with the mallet, and then he's on the ground. And that's why he has no idea what is happening, really. But also, when Goku calls out to King Kai, he's just standing on the planet. He's just staring into space, which he said he likes.
He said he
doing.
likes to do.
Yeah,
so at least it's
explained.
yeah.
That's, I guess, all he does.
They say, but we shouldn't go to Namek because Piccolo was from Namek and he's super evil.
Oh, yeah.
And then they talk about how, like, oh, Piccolo's not, he wasn't born evil. He was molded by the evil.
By the evil of man.
Yeah, and
That's
it's weird
right.
because they show him, they do like these still frame flashbacks, and it's wild. They show Piccolo like living through the ages of Earth.
Yeah.
There's like a scene with him with pirate ships and tanks. So like human history is basically intact, but there's also aliens and the dinosaurs survived somehow, and
Animals are people.
and animals are people, and I don't understand this world.
I don't. I don't think that there's probably an encyclopedia of Dragon Ball that explains all of it, but it probably makes it all up. It's just like, yeah, well, in 1412 there was a separation between the. Who knows? I don't know. But I get what you're saying, because we're trying to figure out the lines of logic. What matters? What doesn't matter? What's interesting?
I don't know what this show cares about and what it doesn't care about. It's very
it changes
unclear.
every day. It's like it's seriously like a small child wrote this, because it depends on the day whether they give a shit about Godzilla or not.
But they have moments. Like I really appreciated Bulma analyzing. Bulma gets to be a scientist in this episode.
Oh yeah,
and she actually has like a worthwhile like character stuff going on. When she figures out like, we need a spaceship and things like that. It's really cool. Her character does not stay consistent throughout the next few episodes.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know what happens.
I don't get it. Is it filler? Is this a filler arc? Because if it is, that would make sense.
I feel like it might be.
Because there's a certain point in these episodes where it starts to go back and it turns back and everybody's okay again. And I really wonder if that section is just filler. After that, they're like, Earth spaceships won't get there. How do we get to Namek? Well, the Saiyans came in Saiyan pods and only a couple of them blew up. The one that Nappa arrived in is still intact. So all they have to do is find Nappa's spaceship. Yeah, because Vegeta took off in his.
Yeah.
One Goku arrived in, blew up, and then Nappa's is still around.
And Raditz is also exploded.
And Raditz is also exploded. It was destroyed by Gohan. So all they got to do is find Nappa's Saiyan pod, and then they've got a really quick way to get to Namek. So problem solved. Everybody's excited, and the episode ends with everybody in like a freeze frame, high five sort of shot.
That's
where
right.
They're like, Namek, here we come. And it was the most
Hooray!
anime thing that I've seen in a long time.
It was extraordinarily. And they're all laughing.
And they're all laughing. Yeah. And then it just ends. It's
extraordinarily Japanese. It was
Anyway.
glorious. But it was a good episode.
I actually liked it a lot.
I
I
liked
did
that
not expect it
episode
to be
overall.
like, I didn't expect them to give time to those characters to process everything. that
Yeah.
happened. I thought they'd breeze right past it, get to Frieza, get to the next big bad, get to the next fight, and they don't. They like, it lingers and it
Feels real.
Yeah, it's wild, but I really appreciated it. Episode 37 is called Plans for Departure. In America, the Japanese title is Mysterious Yunzabit, The Search for Kami-sama's Spaceship.
Well, they say that in the episode. Yanzabit.
Okay, do they?
Yanzabit Heights.
Oh, that's right. That's the place. That's the name of the place.
Yeah.
I really liked this episode too.
I did too. My title for this episode is If You Like Hearing Bulma Scream, This is the One for You.
But it is also the episode where Bulma gets maybe the most screen time that she's had in the entire show so far.
And it's
which is
good
cool.
screen time too.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it starts off with
Goku and an iron lung.
Yeah. They're in the hospital, which I also didn't expect.
Just go to the hospital.
Yeah, Krillin, Gohan have been treated. Goku's still being treated. Goku's by far the worst off out of all of them. And is this the one where it starts and he's just screaming?
He's screaming. All the doctors and nurses are doing are putting him in bandages, and he's just screaming and screaming, and he looks like he's in a big metal cocoon. The other characters, Krillin, Gohan, and Chi-Chi, are sitting outside the room. The door's closed. They can't
Master
see.
Roshi's there too.
They cannot see what's going on, but they hear Goku screaming, and they're terrified because if Goku's screaming, then it must be awful.
Yeah.
But they're just putting Band-Aids on him.
Yeah, it's just, I think they're trying to communicate that, like, his skin, even, like, all of his nerves are just gone. Like, everything has just been damaged.
Yeah.
To the point where he can barely move. You should have done that Kaioken times 4.
That's right.
It's nice to see, like, an actual consequence for all the screaming and vein popping and stuff.
Yes,
though.
and it's not screaming like power-up screaming. There's a difference between power-up screaming and this screaming. This is pain screaming.
You can
tell. Yeah, it's interesting. There's like an untold verbiage in the scream. They don't. I kind of enjoy that they have different screams for different things.
Yeah, I mean, they're actors.
I guess that's all. Yeah.
This is what they went to school for.
Acting.
For some reason, I have secret government forces will never not be cool on here. Does it show?
Oh, eventually everybody gets treated. Gohan, Krillin, they all get Band-Aids, and they're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Or not Band-Aids, that's a brand. Let's not do the brand thing again, because we did that a minute ago. Bandages and casts. They're all together. The gang's all here in Goku's room. Goku is laying completely down. He can't sit up. He's annihilated. He can't sit up. And Bulma comes in with a new hairstyle. And
Master Yoshi freaks out.
Yeah.
It's like, it does the thing where it shows her old style and her new style and like flashes between
Flips
them
back
really
and
quick.
forth,
So the audience understands. But
yeah, like we didn't know.
It's just a hair change.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay, here's the thing though. Any like girl anime where it's a bunch of girls in a high school and they're all chasing after the hot teacher or whatever it is. I don't know what anime does. I assume like that's super generalization. Maybe there are no animes like that, but that's what I imagine it to be. If you took all their hairstyles and you just took them off and swapped them on the other ones, could you even tell which girl was which? Because they're all wearing the same fucking uniform.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
anyway, okay, that was animeist. I guess I don't know. There's a term for that.
The point is, most characters in Dragon Ball Z never change.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Too much. There's a couple time skips where they do, but Bulma changes all the time.
Yes. Especially over the next couple episodes. She just whoop, 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 switches up. So anyway, she comes back with different hair. Master Roshi, whoa, interesting new hair. I thought you were a hot new nurse. She's like, what?
That is what he says.
That's not funny. And he says, I wasn't joking. He says that. And I was like, yeah. I enjoy Master Roshi when he's not physically assaulting people.
Yeah, like he's just being the old man that makes the jokes.
The playful old man joke thing is fine, but then there's a goddamn line that he crosses that I'm not okay with. But anyway, she comes in, she says, hey, look, I figured out how to make that Saiyan pod.
Dude, and it's on live TV. The Saiyan pod is on live TV, which would never, ever happen, ever.
Ever.
They're showing off the alien spaceship on a television, on a news
We found the alien spacecraft, and the other one exploded.
They apparently got one of the cell phones calculators from... They just found it? Or Krillin snatched it from Vegeta.
That's right.
Before Vegeta took off. So gives it to Bulma. But for a wonderful split second, I thought that they were going to have to work together to bust into Area 51 and steal the Saiyan pod back. And I want to see that episode so bad.
That would have been a really awesome episode.
But no, they just have Vegeta's calculator. For a second, I was thinking Bulma's going to push the buttons, and it's connected to Vegeta's pod, not Nappa's, so it's going to send Vegeta back to Earth.
Oh, that also would have been awesome.
But it doesn't. It just explodes.
I think, just fucking bombs. That's it. It explodes, and it's in like a decontamination or like a holding chamber.
Yeah.
And it looks like a strong holding chamber. And when it explodes, it blows out the glass. And the guy on the TV is like, it just exploded. I am hurt. It was like...
He's a consummate professional in his line of work.
He absolutely... I want to follow him. Alien spacecraft explodes and he
just has to report the news.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. So they start talking about what are they going to do now? Oh no, there's no hope, there's no spaceship. And then I don't know how it happens. I can't remember the exact line of the reveal, but it shoots on Bulma, who's standing near one of the windows in the hospital, and then it cuts to Mr. Popo's face and he's like, hey.
Yeah, so They're asking each other in the room, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let's figure out how we can possibly, we don't have a spacecraft. And Krillin says, let's ask Mr. Popo.
Oh, that's right.
And he's
just there.
He's just there now.
He just appears.
He's just in the window.
He's standing outside the window on a magic carpet.
On a flying carpet.
It literally scared me. I was not expecting it at all. And it freaked me out a little bit.
Where they're like, Mr. Popo, do you know of any spacecraft? And Mr. Popo goes, maybe. Like, he doesn't directly answer.
This whole scene, I almost guarantee, is where the inspiration for the Dragon Ball Z abridged version of the character came from.
Where he's just creepy and awful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like spot on to what he was in that show.
Yes, because he's just standing there and he's not answering their questions directly.
And he Bulma's scared of him, but he's also a little scared of Bulma.
A little bit, that's right. And they cuts back and forth between a close-up of his face and a close-up of Bulma's face. So they're like, okay, somebody needs to go with creepy man on his carpet.
Kami told me about something once. It might be a spaceship. I don't know. We can go check it out.
Come on.
But somebody needs to come and verify that it's actually what we need.
Yep.
And they nominate Bulma.
That's right.
And Bulma doesn't want to go.
Really doesn't want to go. But then she starts screaming a lot because she's got to climb out onto the ledge of the hospital. And they're up 12 stories on a hospital. In a hospital. And she's got to climb onto a magic carpet, which I guess she's never seen anything like this before ever. Because why would you have?
Fair enough.
There's scenes where the camera shows all these other people in the hospital,
which is kind of cool.
Kind of looking out of the hospital, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just as confused as we are.
Yeah, seeing this flying carpet, and then a lady climbs out the window to the magic carpet, and then the wind blows, and she starts screaming, "Oh, I'm too young and pretty to die!" And then she's all embarrassed because she didn't die. And Mr. Popo's just standing there, like, get your shit together. She finally gets on the magic carpet. She says, "Please go easy. This is my first magic carpet ride." And he goes, "Okay."
And then they disappear.
And they just vanish. They just vanish. And everybody is astonished. But Krillin's like, "I hope she's okay." And they teleport to Yanzibit Heights, which is the other side of the world, I guess.
It's like this tundra, sort of deep canyon area.
But it looks like every other part of the planet, though.
It does.
It just looks like so she just knows, wow, we're in Yanzibit Heights.
Yeah.
It's because it's colder there.
Sure.
It's a little bit colder in Yanzibit Heights than it is in every other part of the fucking planet. It looks exactly the same.
But it'd be like if you instantly transported the cliffs of Dover. You might understand. That's sort of the impression I got.
Okay, all right, sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, sure, okay.
It's a weird buddy cop team up, but I'm definitely
Oh, it's such a weird buddy cop team up? Yes.
Mr. Popo and Bulma.
So Mr. Popo comes down, starts leading Bulma, and Bulma is asking him questions.
I loved this scene.
He just completely ignores her.
He doesn't say anything. But Bulma's actually being and her analytical mind, her adventurer self from Dragon Ball's coming out now. They come to a spot in the canyon where Mr. Popo has this ability to jump really high.
Yeah,
and he does it with his hands behind his back like it's no big thing. He just sort of boom, boom, boom. And there's just this huge sheer rock face, and Mr. Popo starts jumping up it, and Bulma's just saying, "Hey, how am I supposed to get up there?"
I'm no rabbit. I can't do that.
Yeah, and Mr. Popo's just like, I don't know, climb, I guess. And he just boom all the way up, even though they had a flying carpet 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, totally unconcerned. Climb, I guess.
So he does. She does, rather.
Yeah.
She climbs up, no big deal. And then she finally gets a story out of him to paint the picture of where this object came from, why they're here, why he knows to go here. And the story begins one day, not too long after lunch.
Yeah, what? I guess that's just the moment where everybody shares really important details about their lives, right?
I don't know why that was relevant at all.
Not too long after lunch.
Specific. Yeah. They go into this flashback conversation between Kami and Mr. Popo, and it just tells Kami's backstory, basically, like how he doesn't know how he got to Earth, really, right? He was just there. His parents weren't there, and he's waiting for them to come, and they never came, so he just waited there at this.
It was sad.
Yeah, a little bit. So Kami is from Namek. He arrived on Earth. We find out why later. He didn't have any parents, so he just went off on his own. How did he get to Kami Tower? Why is it called Kami's Lookout if it wasn't built for him? Was it there before? Was somebody else the guardian? How does Mr. Popo factor into this?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of those questions.
I'm very curious about the lore here.
I have no idea.
Because apparently Kami's Lookout is really important, as a structure on the planet.
Yeah.
But it wasn't built for Kami.
I don't know. I have no idea because isn't Piccolo's father, the Demon King, and then also it's two halves of Kami's whole, and it was
well,
one.
Don't go that deep into it. Now you're
Like,
breaking everything.
all right,
yeah,
okay.
Piccolo did have a dad, and he was the Demon King. But if Piccolo is part of Kami, then why does he have a dad
Why does he have
on
a dad?
Earth?
Yeah, I don't. Fuck it. We just got to move past this one, man. I
There
don't
has
think
to be an answer.
Yeah.
Don't go looking; you'll lose yourself.
So the trigger word for the ship.
Yeah, they find the ship. As they're telling the story, they sort of come to the conclusion that Kami arrived here via a spaceship, and they find it, and it's overgrown, and it looks super alien. And they're like, "How do we open it?" And Mr. Popo says, "You open it with a magic word," and he says, "Piccolo."
Piccolo.
Yeah.
He stops between the colo and the so he started the word, and I'm like, ooh, interesting Namekian language, and it just says colo. I'm like, fuck off. Come on. Really?
So what does Piccolo mean in Namekian?
I don't open, I guess. So the dude's name is open the whole time.
So dumb.
I know. Fuck it. Yeah, we got to move past it.
I do like that this concept of like, I think this is where they discover like, oh, this spaceship was built to get a Namekian here. They evacuated the planet when they thought it was going to, explode or something.
Yeah, there was a horrible thing that happened there.
And I guess it just didn't end up happening, but they evacuated anyway. So there's potentially like a bunch of Namekians just scattered around the universe.
Just out there.
Who may not know who they are, who also have Dragon Balls. It's really interesting to think about.
How do Namekians procreate?
With Dragon Balls.
That should be the joke at the end of this thing. Oh my God. Oh.
We got a pun.
That makes me angry.
So they're on board the spaceship, and I think Mr. Popo says, oh, it only responds to Namekian
Namekian commands is right.
It's voice activated. The spaceship works on voice commands, but it only Namekian. And Bulma remembers back to Dragon Ball during the World Tournament where Piccolo's fighting, and she remembers him speaking a different language. She didn't know at the time it was Namekian. Is that a real thing that happened in Dragon Ball?
Mm.
Like, did they actually have this seed planted that far back? Because that doesn't seem right with how many continuity problems we've already run
I want to say no, but also I know the person that they were fighting, that Piccolo was fighting, was Kami in disguise.
Oh. Well, that would even make more sense.
I suppose.
If they were talking Namekian to each other.
Yeah, but I don't think they had planned on calling it Namekian that far back. That would be crazy if they had.
Yeah.
I feel like the way that this story is written is you have to read between the lines of the reversioning, but then also understand that because it was written on a weekly basis, the way that Toriyama fixes writing problems is just by writing over them. That's it. It's kind of like putting a piece of Swiss cheese on your sandwich, and then to cover up all of the holes in the Swiss cheese, you put another slice of Swiss cheese on it. And then so it's just a bunch. Each episode sometimes is kind of like that.
That's a good analogy.
It's the way that it feels sometimes.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's a good analogy. Anyway, so they're standing in the cockpit of the spaceship. They're like, oh, it only works on Namekian. And Bulma's like, wait, if it responds to voice commands, then it must be powered up. I guess it seems airtight enough. So let's test it out. Mr. Bobo, tell this thing to go to Jupiter. And he speaks Namekian, and the spaceship takes off.
The spaceship knows what Jupiter is.
Yeah. Shut up. It's actually, did you hear the music at this part? It's kind of awesome, actually.
It's really sweet, yeah.
The score starts like
kicking it off, like you're like, oh, this is the thing they're gonna do to get to Namek. It was really cool.
It's awesome. And then they're at Jupiter in 10 seconds flat, just Bulma and Mr. Popo.
Yeah.
The spaceflight music's great. So as they're flying, Bulma freaks out and she's like,
screaming.
I need a seatbelt. And then as she's saying things,
safety
the
belt.
ship is responding as if she's speaking Namekian. Yeah. Some of the stuff she's saying is close enough in Namekian that it starts triggering other things. So like a toilet pops out, a bed pops out, and Mr. Popo's like, oh, you said this. It sounds like this, which is really cool. That's one of those details that I like that they're paying attention to.
Safety belts, and Popo says safte bate is like toilet. And I'm like, that's really close to bidet. So I'm like, is Namekian French? Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Think about it.
Absolutely is.
And then they arrive at Jupiter, and the ship stops, and they just gaze out at Jupiter, and Bulma's like, yeah, we can totally make this thing work.
This is the thing. This is what we gonna do.
My last note is what a neat little episode. It was just, it was cool. I liked having Bulma front and center. I liked that like things were happening, building towards the next big arc. There was a mystery, and you got to know some characters better and some cool backstory. Like, it was a nice episode.
It was a pretty nice change from the last 10, 15 episodes of dour murder
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was nice and adventurous. It was neat.
Yeah.
Are things going to continue to be nice and adventurous?
Episode 38. The American title is Nursing Wounds. The Japanese title is Blast Off for Planet Namek, the terror awaiting Gohan and Co.
Yeah, my title is the episode that made me decide I don't actually hate Gohan anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's
I like this one.
good.
There's a lot of pieces of Gohan here that I really like. The episode opens and they brought Kami's spaceship back to Capsule Corp.
A lab,
and Bulma's working on it along with a team of like engineers and her dad.
yeah.
It's really cool. She's on the phone with, I think, Master Roshi?
I think so.
Anyway,
Probably.
She's talking to somebody, and there's like loud noises going on, so they can't quite hear each other. But anyway, so they're talking about prepping the spaceship and getting it ready to go. They should be good in like 5 days, I think they said. Anyway, then it cuts back to the hospital.
Where Chi-Chi is peeling apples for Gohan.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a callback to when Gohan was eating apples.
That's what I was thinking.
And she's taking care of him.
So the overprotectiveness of Chi-Chi for Gohan starts in earnest now.
Now.
And I get it. I think that Chi-Chi's mentally broken and nobody cares.
Yeah.
But she's like, she's been through a lot of trauma and she's almost lost her family multiple times. And this is how she's dealing with it. And it's not fun to watch as an anime, but like as a character thing, it totally makes sense.
Yep.
It's just a shame that it doesn't get any better.
No. So we didn't mention that in the episode where everybody's on the ship, or everybody's on the airboat going to pick up the bodies of their friends, Krillin says, "You haven't even noticed your husband."
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention this, which we should have.
Yeah, she says, "I am not talking to him. I have nothing to say to that man."
Yeah, for bringing Gohan out.
For bringing my son.
Yeah, she does. She says it a couple times, I think,
It's also his son?
She specifically says my son a couple times.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't feel good.
No.
I don't like it.
No, I had full compassion for Chi-Chi up until she started doing that. And I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong now. You're going down the wrong path.
But like, I get it. There's like, she's dealing with a lot.
Yes, but it's like if somebody with Tourette's said, "Fuck you" to my grandma, I would get why they did it, but I'd still be pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it, but I'm still pissed off at you, Chi-Chi. She's uncomfortably overbearing. And Gohan sneaks out. I mean,
Gohan's not really giving, like, right then. Gohan's not giving her a reason not to be overprotective because he doesn't tell his mom anything at this point. He just sneaks out of the hospital.
Yeah.
He goes up to...
Well, first he's on a balcony and he's kind of training. He's doing pull-ups off of the balcony.
Yeah, that's right.
12 stories high.
Yeah.
And then he's walking, like balance beaming on the balcony.
He's giving himself a workout.
Yeah. Yes. He's training a little bit.
Yeah.
He jumps up to the roof from the balcony, like to test out his legs. He's like, I knew I was feeling better. And as soon as he gets up to the roof, Chi-Chi opens the door and is like, what are you doing on the roof?
He's like, oh, I just knew I had some fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he has a book.
Yeah, he pulls out a book out of nowhere. He's like, oh, I was just reading a book up on the roof.
During this whole part, the music is super weird. It's like a weird, I think this is the one where it's like a trombone for a while. It's just really strange.
Strange upbeat trombone thing.
Yeah. But I like that Gohan is making his own decisions.
And Bulma gets back with the gang. Everybody meets back up in the room. And they keep meeting back up in the room where Goku is he can't move at all.
He can't move. He's still bundled up. He's still in that iron lung.
He can't move at all. So that's where everybody meets up to have nice group meetings and discussions, which is very considerate of them.
To include Goku.
Even though he can't, do anything.
Yep.
And he never says anything. But anyway, they meet up, and Bulma's asking for people's help as to who's going to go with her to Namek.
Yep.
She's like, well, you're coming with me, right, Krillin? Krillin's like,
It's not that I don't want to go.
Yeah. It's not that I don't feel like it's a good idea. He eventually agrees.
But he's a little scared.
Mm-hmm.
He got his ass kicked last time. He
That's
realizes what they're up against and what they could encounter. And he doesn't want to risk it. But he does because he's an adventurer.
And Gohan bursts out and says, I want to go to Namek.
Yeah, which is great. I love that he feels that conflict and you get to see it a little bit in his head before he spits it out.
Mm-hmm.
But he really wants to go. He really wants to help. He really wants to get Piccolo back.
And Chi-Chi hates this and gets in his face and starts screaming at him, screaming in Gohan's face. You are not going to Namek. I just got you back, blah, 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 blah.
And that's when he says, I'm going to help bring back Piccolo, we gotta
that's right,
have to do this. And it's weird because in any other, if this wasn't an anime, Chi-Chi would be 100% in the right.
Yeah.
Because Gohan is a child.
She says that. Why can't you just be a normal child?
Exactly. He shouldn't be taking on a burden like this. It's irresponsible of adults to let him do that.
Yeah.
But it's Dragon Ball Z. He's part Saiyan, and he really wants to help. Like, you're in the wrong show, Chi-Chi.
That's right. Sorry, Chi-Chi. Gohan screams, there's no time for those childish things anymore.
Exactly. He's growing up way too fast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I felt that one. I was like, I like you now.
Yeah.
I like you now, Gohan. You're a real part of this motherfucking show. Got to witness the growth there. I enjoy it. My note after that is there's a moment where Chi-Chi like leaves the room for something, and Gohan throws a punch at Goku because Goku wants to make sure that
was a little further down.
what else happens?
So Bulma says like, okay, well, you can spend some time with your mom. We're gonna go in 10 days instead of 5 days.
Oh, that's right.
We'll stretch it out a little bit. The doctor unbandages Krillin, and when he unbandages Krillin, he gives his head like a slap, and he starts laughing.
Yeah, his bald head, a big old slap, and it makes such a slap noise too. It's a good slap. Mm-hmm.
So Chi-Chi leaves, and it's just Gohan and Goku, and Goku holds out his hand. He's like, "Come on, Gohan, I got to know that you're ready." And Gohan punches it, and they do that a couple times. And Goku's like, "Yeah, you got it, dude. You're totally good to go." It was a nice like father-son moment.
Yeah.
They don't get a lot of those.
No.
And so I was happy to see it.
Mm-hmm. Felt cool.
Touching. And then it cuts to Kami Island. The spaceship is on Kami Island, and everybody's getting ready to go. They're all packed up. Krillin is wearing maybe the greatest hat in the universe.
Because it just has his fucking name on it.
It has his name on it.
It just has his name on it.
Kururilin. I can't pronounce his Japanese name. I apologize.
Kurilin. Something.
And I want it. I want that hat so bad.
I bet it exists. It has
to.
It's a flat brimmed cap too, so it was. It's in style now, and he made it in 90 whatever 80.
Fashion is cyclical. So Krillin's.
You're right. Yes, it is absolutely.
Krillin's wearing a neat jacket and a cool hat. He's ready to go. He seems really relaxed and calm.
Yep.
They're all loading up stuff. Chi-Chi arrives with Gohan and the Ox King in their car, and they just have so much baggage.
Physical also.
Yeah. I have to say, like, in Chi-Chi's defense, she's going through some stuff and she's being really overprotective, but she lets Gohan go.
That's true.
She didn't have to do that. And she does. And so I think,
bonus points for her.
Gohan steps out of the car, and he has the haircut he will have for a very long time.
Which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It's the least good Gohan
It's a
hair.
bowl cut.
Yeah.
It's a straight up, she put a bowl on his head and buzzed everything else off of it.
Yeah.
And he looks a little bit like Chaozu.
He does a little bit. He's also wearing a tuxedo and shorts.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely ridiculous.
And everybody makes fun of him
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, did you notice one of Gohan's bags has the word Dragon Ball on it?
I did. They have Dragon Ball branded stuff.
I don't understand that.
I don't know either.
Is that just like a fun wink and nod? Because he has another bag that has the Capsule Corp name on it, which makes sense.
Maybe, it's just fun. Well, I guess they exist in a world with Dragon Balls. It's not like people don't know that Dragon Balls are a thing.
Sure.
So there could be a brand called Dragon Ball. Yeah, maybe. It's like Gucci. It's high-end shit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. What you wearing today? It's all Dragon Ball. Yeah.
So they load all the crap up on the platform. Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan jump on. They say Piccolo, and it starts to raise up. They say goodbye to everybody. Bulma's weird. Oh, this is the beginning. It's the beginning of weird Bulma. Yeah, she's like a little grumpy, and it doesn't make any sense why she.
It looks like she's resolute at first. Yeah, that's what you think. She's just like, I got my head in the game. We're gonna go on this mission, but it's not just that, and we will soon discover that it's far more obnoxious.
Yeah.
Than this.
And this is where the filler is about to start, right?
Well, first they break atmosphere, and then all of Gohan's extra shit that he brought along goes flying just everywhere.
In the cockpit, it just explodes, and there's a mess everywhere, and Bulma's like, clean this up. And Chi-Chi and Ox King and Master and everybody watch from the island as they leave Earth.
That's it.
That's the end of the episode. Episode 39.
Where the filler starts.
Oh my god. It's called Friends or Foes. In America, Japanese title is Friends or Foes, but then Children of the Mysterious Giant Spaceship tacked onto the end there.
My title is Bulma, Put on Some Pants.
Yeah. I'm very happy to know that this is where the filler starts. This is not in the manga, and it is never been more obvious.
Good
because
God.
Characters don't behave like they should.
No.
And it's just wild for a few episodes.
So strange. So the very first thing that happens is Bulma wakes up. It seems like they've been on the ship for a little while. She actually says, like, it's day 7, day 8,
like
and I'm so bored. The first thing that happens is she wakes up and she's wearing like a bra and panties.
Pretty much.
And she drinks a beer.
Yeah, she just gets out of bed. She's just hanging out in underwear, drinking beer.
She gets out of bed, cracks open a beer labeled beer.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just beer brand beer.
So but I'm actually curious what that says in the dub that aired on like Toonami and stuff when we were growing up.
Oh, I wonder.
Because that's the same deal. Like they changed the hell on the shirts to HFIL. I wonder if they changed beer too.
I wonder if they even had that scene or if they just cut it out because it was too much work.
So yeah, Bulma's living in her own filth and it's only been a few days. This doesn't feel like Bulma to me.
No.
Like, I don't know who wrote the filler stuff or why they thought that it was appropriate, but Bulma's very out of character for the next little while, and I'm just going to attribute it to that and not actual canon because I have to.
It's so strange. She gets up out of this bed that's surrounded in junk food, wrappers, and Gohan and Krillin are...
They're image training. Which I thought was just a thing in the video games that they brought up, but it's an actual real thing. So it's like you get into a meditative stance, and you just sort of sit there quietly, and then like somehow you link up your brain or whatever, and you can fight inside, like mentally, and you can actually gain training.
Somehow, yeah.
So they're inside their own heads fighting, and it's actually really cool. Did you notice the change in art style?
Yes.
Like they're sort of half outlined.
That was very cool.
Really cool.
I appreciated the hell out of that.
It was awesome. So they do that for a while, and then Bulma gets mad at them for just sitting there. And
like, why don't you clean up some of this
mess? Clean up my mess. And Krillin's like, dude, we did. We cleaned up our mess. This is your mess. We don't eat junk food.
And she says, I'm way too busy for this. And then she walks up to the cockpit or up to the chair, the captain's chair, and then just sits in it and does nothing. Because the fucking ship's on autopilot. And they're like, what is she so busy doing?
This series of episodes actually makes me happy for Krillin because he's actually like a reasonable adult.
He's the only reasonable adult.
He shouldn't be, but he is the only reasonable adult.
God.
Anyway, my note for that is Bulma kind of sucks.
Bulma really sucks.
Yeah.
Over the next couple episodes, we'll just take it one step at a time. Okay, because that's the only way we can do it. So the Gohan and Krillin have to clean up her fucking mess.
Yeah, they start cleaning it up.
Her mess.
I wouldn't have stood for that shit, but whatever.
And so they're in space, and they notice something out in space. They're like, they see something on the radar. They're like, what is that? What is that going to be? And it's a fucking spaceship. It's a spaceship. And then there's a ton of spaceships, and they all start firing blasters.
That's right, yeah.
They're all choo-choo-choo-choo, it's fucking Battlestar in space. And then so Krillin says, do something, and Bulma says, okay, activate the defensive array. And then their ship fires a huge beam laser out of the front of it, and it just cuts down all these other ships.
So it's a pretty good ship that they've got.
Yeah, apparently they have like some sort of cruiser class vessel, and they just blew down a bunch of frigates. I don't know how Dragon Ball Z space warfare functions, but they then approach a ship that looks exactly like their ship, and it's just going to ram them. They're getting closer and closer, so Bulma banks to try and avoid it, and then gets sucked into something. We don't know what it is. It looks like the ship is dropped into a black inky pool, and then it cuts to
the hospital. It cuts to Goku in the hospital doing sit-ups in a full-body cast.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Which is probably really hard to do.
Yeah, but he's doing it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Vegeta.
Oh, yeah,
for like a split second. He's back, everybody. Vegeta's back. I think he says Kakarot.
He does. He says Kakarot.
He's just flying back somewhere through space on his Saiyan pod. He's still recovering. Back on the ship. They don't know where they ended up. Gohan scares everybody, jumps out and says boo, which is very fun. I thought,
I'm an alien.
Yeah, it was like a cool little, oh yeah, Gohan is a kid moment.
Yeah, that pool that they dropped into, that inky black whatever, it's actually a docking station for a space station.
Yeah.
It's like a docking bay.
A massive mobile space station.
Yeah.
So they decide to get out and investigate. So they leave the ship. Bulma's still not wearing pants.
No.
And I thought they weren't even going to mention it, but she just say, oh, I forgot to put on pants, which just tells you how long she's been without pants.
Yep. They start walking around to investigate.
They start exploring. They're like in a sort of a spaceship graveyard type thing, and then they find a corridor, a metal corridor. It's all, sci-fi panels and stuff. They are definitely on a spaceship of some kind.
And then the walls open up, and like in Indiana Jones style, where the darts are coming out of the walls, and you have to like, oh, look out for the darts. It's just a bunch of laser blasts start coming out of the walls, and somehow Gohan is able to drag Bulma's ass through it. Krillin's punching them all to get rid of them.
Oh, the cannons, yeah.
The cannons,
the laser cannons, yeah.
And they make it through that. And Bulma somehow blames them for that. Oh, yeah. You guys need to be more careful.
I don't understand this at all.
Yeah.
You've been on adventures. You know the cost.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
Seriously,
Put
come
on. Some pants.
Put on some pants, Bulma. They get to the next corridor, which is an acid trap. And acid starts coming out of the ground of the walls of the ceiling.
Like
and
the garbage disposal in Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Gohan has to fly Bulma's ass up. And Bulma complains some more about something. Why didn't you do that sooner? And Krillin Kamehamehas the wall.
It was actually pretty cool to see that indoors.
Ooh, that was neat.
Yeah.
Blasts through the wall, and they make it out of there. And then they get into a wide open space where out of nowhere, these like robotic arms come and snag Bulma, and she still manages to blame them.
It was weird. Okay, so back up just a second. When they're in that corridor, they're like, man, I wish we had a door here.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's right.
And then they look up on the ceiling, and there's a literal red door.
It's just a red door.
As you would see on anybody's house.
Yeah.
Not sci-fi at all. And Krillin tries to open it, it won't open. Another door opens in the floor, and they fall down. They almost get sucked out into space.
Oh, that's right. So they almost get sucked out into space, but
they just fly up.
But they just fly up.
Because they can fly.
Because they can fly. So a couple things happened that really bothered me in that moment. They're screaming.
Uh-huh.
I mean, technically, it's blown out into space, right? When there's open space there, then it's all the air from inside the station would get blown out into the vacuum of space. That doesn't matter at all because they just fly up and they're breathing and they're fine. They just fly back up through the open hole into the space station and then continue on. My brain had to rationalize it by that inky like wave that they teleported-ish through.
Oh, yeah, it's like maybe force field or some
vacuum containment force field question mark.
Sure, let's go with
That's how I rationalized
it. Sci-fi nonsense anyway.
It's not explained at all, but that's how I like.
So then they go into the big open room, and in the big open room, right after they say, I'm hungry, is like a dinner table.
Oh, that was...
filled with food. So I thought that this whole thing was like, because they said, man, I wish there was a door, I'm hungry, then there was food. I thought this ship was going to be like reading their thoughts or whatever and like presenting them with obstacles and things that they were worried about.
Sure, yeah.
Because they also talk about being worried about Vegeta and coming back and all that stuff. But that's not explained ever. There's just food there, a home cooked meal that at a table set for like 4 people or whatever. And then they look at that for a little bit, and then the claw thing comes out, grabs Bulma, and then all of these kids arrive.
All these kids in space gear with guns. All these little children. And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, it's that orphan episode.
That's what I said. Is this just the Gohan orphan episode, but in space?
Holy shit. So they're all surrounded by these goddamn children with firearms.
And then the episode ends. And that was the season 1 finale, everybody.
Yep.
That's where the season 1 discs stop. So aren't you glad we didn't stop season 1 there?
Seriously, what the fuck?
Episode 40 is called Held Captive in America. The Japanese title is Honest to Goodness, There Lies Namek, Planet of Hope. Which doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Nope. Didn't come up with the title because it's the 5th. So my title is pointless. It is. This episode is so dumb. Bulma, okay, look, I'm going to do this whole episode in 20 seconds. You ready? Bulma complains. The kids don't believe them. They do some nice things. The kids believe them. They leave.
Yeah.
Done. Fuck this episode. It was so dumb. So they're surrounded in these children with firearms, and Bulma's captured. Krillin and Gohan are like, okay, look, what's going on? We're not bad guys. And this is the first time the name Frieza gets dropped.
Yeah, that is something good.
One of the kids says, we know that you're agents of Frieza. And Krillin says, I think it's time that we need to power up, Gohan. So they go, and they power up a little bit. And the kids are like, oh, shit. They're definitely agents of Frieza.
But they also all have guns.
Yes.
That they're still wielding.
And then Bulma says, okay, that'll save you guys, but then they'll just shoot me, you idiots.
Yeah.
And so they stop powering up, and then the space station rocks 45 degrees to the right, and some kid runs out of a door, a hallway, and says, wow, we're at You're getting hit by an asteroid field. So they completely forget about Gohan and Krillin, and they have to go. Apparently, all the kids just start cowering. I guess.
Well, some of them step up and try to like fight the fires and stuff, and Gohan Gohan and Krillin, like grab hoses and put out fires.
They start putting out fires. That's right. And one of the kids notices that they're helping.
Bulma's like, "Who's flying this thing? This is stupid.
Whoever's flying this thing needs to go back to flying school."
Yeah, so
or
she
something.
runs off to the cockpit to try to fix that.
Yeah. Yes. A big panel drops down and almost crushes a bunch of children, and Krillin and Gohan save the children.
Yep. People notice that.
There's one bigger kid. We're gonna call him Bigoro, because I don't remember his actual name.
I can't remember either. It's something. I think it's Boone, because I was like, oh, that kid on
one of the kids is Boone. The other one, I don't know if they ever said their name, because there's two bigger kids. Yeah, it's Bigelow.
Just Bigelow.
So Bigelow, the bigger kid, sees them, sees Gohan and Krillin save some kids, and then sees them fight some fires. Bulma runs up to the cockpit, and then other bigger kid, who's Boone, bigger kid Boone with the bandage on his face.
Yeah.
Is flying the ship, and Bulma says, "Are you trying to get everybody killed? Get out of the cockpit. I'm going to fly this." So she sits in the cockpit and starts typing on a keyboard like you see a hacker doing in a 90s movie.
Sure.
When he's hacking the mainframe, he's just...
It's the closest that Bulma comes to like her actual character in these episodes, though. So I do appreciate, like, she's like, okay, so this is here and this is here, but where's this thing? Tell me where this thing is.
That's right.
I need it to fly. So she does like actually figure out how to fly the ship using science and smarts and stuff. It cuts to Goku for a second to show that he's afraid of needles, which actually I thought was kind of funny.
That was pretty funny, actually, yeah. I like that.
Well, also a little bit disheartening because Chi-Chi absolutely hates him.
Oh.
He's like, oh, you're afraid of needles, but you'll go save the world?
Yeah, you're such a big baby.
Yeah.
Like, she's just so unnecessarily cruel to him.
It's wild. But also filler episode, so...
Still, okay.
It's gross.
Side note, in Super, they straight up say... Goku and Chi-Chi have never kissed one time.
What?
They've never actually kissed.
But that's wrong. Wait, what?
Yeah, since they've been married, they have never kissed one time.
But they have children.
Doesn't mean they have to kiss for it.
That's true.
Yeah. So they say that in Super, that Goku and Chi-Chi have actually never kissed one another, ever. They've never touched lips together.
Whoa.
Yes, and that's canon now.
Why are they still...
canon as canon
Why are they married?
Because Goku agreed to do it. And then also, I guess, he's a man of his word. And that's what he told the Ox King he would do.
Wow. I think this is painting a dark picture. I don't like going down this road.
Yeah, so anyway, that we figured that out. Because I think it's Bulma asks, like, Chi-Chi, like, what's it like when you kiss Goku? And Chi-Chi's like, oh, we've never kissed.
Whoa.
And Bulma's like, what? What? That's not okay.
I don't know how to feel about the main character being trapped in a loveless marriage.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
It's uncomfortable as hell. Because everybody else's relationships all around are
pretty good.
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
Throughout the entirety of the series, oh my God, there are some moments with Vegeta and Bulma in Super where you're like, ooh.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really nice.
Okay, so while they're saving everybody, Krillin and Gohan, the spaceship's under attack, they're saving everybody. There is one part where there's this little girl that you see every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
In a couple scenes. There's one part, and she has like a stuffed animal, I think, things like that. She's standing in a hallway, and an explosion happens, and it's coming right toward her. Gohan runs and stands in front of the girl.
Right.
Exactly like Piccolo stood in front of him.
Except
it's an amazing moment.
Then he Masenko's to blast all the stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, yes. And I said, as I was watching this with the person I'm watching with, who cried when Piccolo did that, how come Piccolo just didn't do that? And she turns to me and she's like, don't you dare. I'm like, okay, sorry, look, I'm just saying, okay.
If any part of this episode is worth watching, it's that.
It's that part.
It's that moment.
It's really cool.
It was wordless, didn't telegraph it. It just happened, and like you as an audience member make the connection. It's really good.
That's right. That reminds me. So how they get out of that trapdoor into space? They shoot blasts.
And that's right. They propel themselves up.
Yeah, so let's add that to the tactical analysis of how beams work.
Because sometimes that doesn't happen.
Sometimes that doesn't happen whatsoever.
Goku stood in midair and done a Kamehameha.
Yes, but you also can use it to propel you. So we'll just tally that on. We'll add that to the Excel doc that we're making.
So they save the spaceship. Basically, Bulma gets the piloting under control, and
Yep.
they see her as good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Then
they're
they
like,
explain their situation.
oh
Why
yeah,
it's just
they
a bunch
do
of
the
kids.
backstory. They're basically it's the orphan story.
That's it.
The parents were destroyed not by a tsunami, but by Frieza.
Yep.
And his force decimated their planet, and the parents set them off on a spaceship for safety reasons.
And the only reason that they survived is because the spaceship has mirrored walls, which is why they saw a version of their own ship coming towards them, is because the spaceship has mirrored edges, and apparently they just luckily hit the docking bay portion.
I guess
instead of a straight
I don't know how they
wall.
went through it.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Filler.
yeah.
At least with filler, when things don't make sense, you can be like filler,
Yeah.
and toss it away.
They just had to do this really fast.
Yeah.
So the kids give them a shortcut to Planet Namek that'll shave off around 10 days.
Oh yeah.
They leave. Bigabro peels off the bandage and reveals his scar to everybody as if it's some like dramatic moment.
I guess
don't
it's symbolic because it's healed now. Because he's been trying to heal up that portion of his face. Because when his parents died, there's a flashback where his parents die, and then there's like a bullet that scars his face, and then he's had a bandage on his face. Now it's healed because he got to explain that. And at first, they were very distrustful of them. So now that he has opened up himself, he's a little more moved past it. That's
Okay.
what I took away from it.
Okay. Interesting.
But I could just be imprinting shit. Like it could just be, yeah.
It's better than nothing.
I guess.
Vegeta gets somewhere. His Saiyan pod arrives somewhere we don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's like a big castle place.
A weird looking castle. Okay, can I just say the design of some of these spacey things?
Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Like authentically alien, which is something a lot of shows do not do.
yes, and we'll
it
get into that in
feels
the
weird.
following episode. There's Toriyama does a phenomenal job. Who better than Toriyama, who couldn't make planet Earth to save his life, to make some weird alien worlds?
So true.
Yeah. So anyway,
Good job at it.
Yeah, they take this shortcut. Bulma's laying down in bed sleeping. She pre-programs the shortcut that the kid told him about, and the ship starts shaking and rocking. And Krillin freaks out. He's like, "Whoa, what's going on? This is not good. Bulma, this is not good." And Bulma's asleep. She's like, "Oh, it's fine. We're just going through a recently collapsed star." And Krillin's like, "What?" She goes back to sleep, and the ship is shaking through this shit. It's like going around and around like it's a space whirlpool of death, and it's red and black and evil looking. And she's totally asleep through the whole thing. Gravity, I guess, exists on the ship because the ship inverts, and everybody hits the roof.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Flips down, and Bulma falls all the way out and is still asleep. It's so weird. And then they finally make it out of this weird whirlpool-y space nebula thing, and Bulma wakes up in Krillin's lap and smacks him in the face, like, "I certainly didn't go to sleep in your lap," even though she's been asleep for 4 seconds.
Yeah, and she could look around and see what had happened.
God, I don't like Bulma in these episodes.
Filler Bulma is terrible.
So they make it to Planet Namek. They
Yeah,
look
they
down.
arrive at a
This
planet.
must be Planet Namek. We made it. Woo!
Krillin's like, "Are you sure?" And Bulma's like, "Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure."
don't you second guess me,
Don't
you
question
fucking
me.
bald asshole. I know where I'm going.
And then they go to land on the planet, and the episode ends.
Done.
That's it,
That's what these episodes were. I really liked episode 36.
dude. The first two,
and 37.
fantastic.
Yes.
Then
Awesome.
you start getting into filler territory, and it like tanks hard.
Oh, yeah.
The characters don't make any sense, and like there's no continuity. It just
It's upsetting.
yeah, it really is.
It's really there. I've had people argue, or I've read people's arguments towards why filler is important and how it adds to the anime. Filler episodes you shouldn't skip. Skip these.
Yeah, these are
Not good.
not great.
Not phenomenal. They don't represent the characters as you know who they are.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple interesting moments, but if you skipped from where they take off from Kami Island, and then the next episode was them getting to Namek,
It's fine.
that would be fine.
It would
It's
be
fine.
perfect. You missed nothing.
Yeah, and it would feel a lot better.
It really would. Yeah. So do things feel better in the next episodes?
Who knows? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
When Eric hates Dragon Balls. This is the name of our podcast.
Oh, shit. Find out next time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. Are you going to layer that with...
I absolutely am.
Thank you for listening to Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. He might hate the show, but he loves that you're listening to it. If you're wondering why I sound like shit right now, it's because I'm not recording this at the studio, but instead at my home. If you've enjoyed what you've listened to and you'd like to support us, consider leaving us a rating or review on iTunes. That helps us out quite a lot. Head on over to our Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/EricHatesDBZ. There you'll find a slew of different rewards, and although I'm not really excited about the upcoming one, I'll do it for you. The opening and closing themes to the show were written and produced by me, with a little bit of help from Spencer, just a little bit. If you like more of my music, you can head to my SoundCloud under the name Burn7. Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z is part of the Rocktopus network of podcasts. For more entertainment by our team, check out the Tales of Nowhere podcast. It's a tabletop role-playing game podcast where we take one cast of characters through multiple games and rule sets to tell one epic story. You can find that podcast at talesofnowhere.com. That's it for me. Thanks so much for listening. And even though I sound like I'm talking to you from a tin can, I really feel like I'm krilling it with these outros.